Peace and love to the guys and the goddesses. Sometimes we talk about shit that ain't for the camera, even on No PC Radio. I go by the name Black Poet, act like you know it, and I'm rocking with
Kairos.
Spiritual K, Johnny Storm.
And G is key.
All right. What do I want to ask? Away from that? Damn, I wish I could say that shit on camera.
Man, we was
All
getting
right.
deep, y'all.
Fuck Elon Musk. Real quick, Elon Musk and all this robot tech. How do you feel about this iRobot,
I hate
Terminator, John Connor, Sarah Connor shit that they got going on?
I hate it. He's a reptilian that's getting information.
You said what?
He's a...
I think it's cool, but he's doing it. Sometimes it's doing a little too much.
I don't like the
dealing with
push.
aliens though. That's giving him exchange of information.
I don't know if he's a reptilian or not,
Yeah.
but I looked him up, right? And they acting like Elon Musk is the savior. He's different. He's anti-establishment. I looked this man up, and his family has had money since his grandfather's generation. His grandfather or father was a diamond miner.
Oh wow!
Generational wealth.
On the Eastern Hemisphere. Like, this is not some dude that just woke up to $270 billion. So they are a part of this oligarchy that runs the earth. You know, these Crest families, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Orsinis, the Sforzas, the Medicis. Yeah, exactly. The 13 royal families. So Elon Musk is not about to change shit. And the fact that he's pushing all this mecha tech, it's $30,000. A car, a Jeep Wrangler is $30,000. So why do these people want sentient robots in your house?
Transhumanism that pushes very real. Inorganic
That's
beings.
what they started with the first.
Yeah, taking away anything inorganic, which is why I have a hard time believing that the people that run this earth are actually of this earth, because how do you have all these physical beings trying to tear down the only inhabitable place where we can coexist and breathe the same air? How do you do everything in your power to taint it and make it uninhabitable?
They're trying to escape.
So...
Yeah,
okay,
right.
let's talk about it.
They're trying to. So what's happening is
On the break the firmament side of
the sun is heating up, and we know what sun does to people that don't have the right melanin.
I said before that was the one topic we couldn't touch.
Because it become easily racist.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. But it's so...
Let's say
I don't know.
connected.
Tribes. There we go.
All right.
Come on, genius. That's why that's your name.
Yeah.
Drop the game.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There's
So
three tribes that can't take the.
certain tribes can't take the sun, and it's starting to heat up on them. So they're trying to use that technology to pretty much shield themselves and or get up out of here.
to make everything inorganic.
AKA, let's go to Mars and have Mars up too.
Yeah, and
Wait,
they
didn't
also
they already do that? Did they already do that?
printing all these GMO foods
At
to
least
see
it's
how
not
they'll be
eliminating
able to.
Aboriginals so they can rule it.
Bingo.
That's it.
Their time has been
But they
declared out.
and they can't actually kill us off either, because our tribe is the reason why our skin is able to soak up the sun.
But if you
so
keep
we've
enough of them
soaked it.
deaf, dumb, and blind and rule over them, you got enough of that population to keep the thing stable, but not enough to ever be a threat.
And if you let them
So-
kill
They're the Black
themselves
Messiah.
through
I have a
abortions,
question then.
if you let them kill themselves, you know.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's propaganda.
Time out, because here we go. I want to do this in order. Black show, I'm not like, look, I can't do this shit off the top of my head. Fuck Elon Musk, because that's that bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do a thing called, I call it my top 10, but it could be more than 10, less than 10.
Okay.
I'm going to let everybody get 60 seconds to talk about these topics. Right now, we got a wave of this Ratchet girl music that's been popping for 4 or 5 years. You are a female artist. I saw you roll your eyes when I'm done at the topic. How do you feel about it? I got my thoughts, but it's easy for me to come back and do a dolo. How do you feel about the Sexy Reds, the Megan Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's, et cetera, et cetera?
Okay, I feel like it's layered. I feel like for some people, it's going to be liberated. Like we said earlier, it's about knowing thyself. The moment you don't, you can be infiltrated and your mind could be corrupted. So if you're not already on your path into who you are, then that's when it's going to get to you. So that comes down to consumerism. And in terms of what it's doing to the culture as a whole, is it depicting us in the worst way? Yes, it is. So do I mess with it? No, I don't. Can it be fun at parties? Yes. But like I said, they come down to discernment and knowing yourself. And when you don't, you have all these people looking up to these individuals and becoming that. And you have some people using it to liberate and justify how they are. And I don't fuck with that either. So that's my 60 seconds.
So for me, it's propaganda. You know, it's putting a certain image. Like when you think about little girls is looking up to Megan Thee Stallions and
100%.
Cardi B's and stuff like that. That's who they want to be.
Yeah, my generation.
You know what I mean?
So
So
it's
it's
looking up
like-
to Tip Drill.
Exactly. So it's like we have to create a better image, but we understand that it's certain group of people, certain group of tribes that's pushing certain agendas, so it can kind of twerk the mind a little bit.
And infiltrate us in particular.
I agree with both of them, and like what she said, like
Talk about the old school, because I wanted to get into that.
why I gotta be in the old school?
Because you the only one with the ism, bro. I got it. This is the
Millennial
reference
Notebook,
is
huh?
important because it didn't start here.
Oh,
It's
well,
Trina,
No,
Little
yeah,
Kim,
we had- okay,
Foxy
so,
Brown.
we had-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, no, see, hold on. When you talk about Ratchet to the extent of like Sexy Red and all them, Foxy Brown wasn't that. Like,
She wasn't.
She came out as a complete lyricist. Like
She was nice.
her
I think
after-
Nas was writing that shit.
yeah,
but
after
it was
ain't
nice.
no Ain't No with Jay, and then you heard her on the Firm with Nas and all them AZ. Like it was that rhyme style she was rapping. Like, come on now, you can't really put her in that. So as far as Ratchet, we had Trina, what's her name? Kia, Kaya, My Neck, My Back.
Yeah.
But Lil Kim, you can put her in there too.
Do you think the impact is negative or positive? And how much
think
leeway?
I think it's more impactful today because of social media. They're able to.
100%.
You're able to not only like back then, like if my mom didn't want me to hear that, it's like I'm about to get the clean version of the CD. I'm not gonna hear all that.
Yeah.
and you can put
The
parental
consumer
advisory.
is almost
and I can't just
limited.
sit there on my phone and look at it. I gotta wait to catch 106 or whatever was on.
Yeah, that's a good
MTV.
point.
Now it's on your, you can look up Sexy Red's ass all day. She's dropping sex tapes. You can look up Megan Thee Stallion.
That
She's
shit was
twerking
trash.
all goddamn day. It's
Yeah.
it's
It has
like
I got a
Vice is
question
much
though for you.
influence.
Since you was, was it because the way I'm looking at it, was it more '90s rappers like 90s R&B singers that was kind of overshadowing that? Because that was like a small
Yeah.
group of people.
Yeah, it wasn't-
I'm
it
only
wasn't
speaking from,
overblown.
like-
That's what I'm saying.
So like my like coming of age would be like early 2000s. Like yeah, I was there in the 90s, but like that would be my older cousins. They could really tell you that shit. So like 90s, it wasn't too much of that. The ratchet female
I think
music.
it's
real.
when you jump off the porch and touch ground. So you saying that's the early 2000s for you?
Yeah, that's when but I know about the 90s a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, so I just know that a lot of the shit that like Sexy Red and all that, it wasn't too much of that. First off, women in hip hop, y'all weren't really
When
up
my
there
neck,
like that.
when my neck, my back came out, it was a shock to people.
Yeah,
It
that was
wasn't like
2000s.
people was accepting it. Now
Yeah.
they saying if you say, oh, Sexy Red is doing too much, or Ice Spice is doing too much with that pose where she let the camel toe pop, you slut shaming.
No, well, see,
I
they
thought
ain't,
being a
I
slut
mean,
was
they talked
shameful.
about it, but they ain't do, visual.
Bring
It
back
wasn't
shame.
Like
Bring
Please.
back shame. Like you
Please.
can't.
Yeah.
I don't want my daughter to have the role model to say bending over and popping her cat on Instagram is lit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not
Or
anti-sex
saying you
worker.
the disease queen.
And half of them don't even live the life that they're portraying. So they really just
Man.
playing on
You
you.
remember
my
when
God.
Future said, "I don't even do these drugs."
Right.
Oh yeah,
So
fuck
you just
everybody
making
head up.
music.
Fuck
Exactly.
everybody head up.
I
with that.
remember going off on that, and a lot of my, family members, brothers and cousins, when
Get
I
on
was
the
telling them about that, I would remember talking about that, and they were kind of giving me a lot of backlash when I was saying, like, you listen to all these rappers who influence you to do things that they not even influencing. And to, like, really piggyback off of, like, the propaganda of Sexy Red and Megan Thee Stallion, what I can really say about that is, forgive me what I'm about to say, right, y'all?
Yeah, let it out.
No PC radio.
So I want to say it's just basically the energy of Kalima, Jezebel, and Lilith, right?
That's my energy.
And so there's
Wow.
nothing
She
wrong.
dropped it, didn't she?
Like it's
There's
hot.
nothing wrong with that because they were all goddesses. However, the narrative of what is being portrayed with those things that they are doing is a little bit too. They make it uncivilized.
There's no balance.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
what I was
no
getting ready to.
chaos.
So they're
Heavy
not.
chaos.
They're
Yes.
not. There's
Alistair
no
Crowley, do
balance.
without will.
No
Yes.
balance. So if we can get a balance of like the like a Kelly Rowland
Yeah.
or like a
Exactly.
and a Sexy Red.
I always
you
talk
know,
about
Yeah,
Alicia Keys.
Ellen
These
Nash.
women
Yes,
are
I
able
love
to
her.
have-
I
Yeah.
love.
they know
Be-
that
be
there's other
yourself, be
things
beautiful.
out there, and
Be
wherever
yourself.
their spirit resonate with, that's the spirit that they can help call upon. I don't resonate with Kalima and Jezebel's spirit. I'm more of like a Cleopatra, Isis type of spirit. So I don't that's not really like my wave. But however, it's just nothing but the Jazzy Bell,
and here's
Kali my
And
spirit.
plus,
here's
And it's
why
perverted
I
now.
want
it
to
is.
Yeah, and they
It's
bounce off
perverted.
that
too much.
frequency.
Yeah.
On the spirit, sexual energy should not be as demonized as it is in
Yeah.
the Western
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
It
'Cause
should
it's
be
natural.
explored. It's
Yeah.
natural.
Right.
Obviously, that's how it's 7 billion
But in
people on the planet.
moderation.
In moderation. That's why I don't have a problem with sex workers, but only if you're doing that because that's your artistic form of expression, not because something happened to you when you were young and this is the only way you know how to receive love. And I think there are a lot of people who want external validation through I'm sensual, man or female. I'm sensual, this is who I am, and that's how I'm going to ask the world to like me.
I'm
And
glad you said
that's
to think
low
about.
vibrational.
Yeah, it is that thing about validation because essentially in the music, that's exactly what's happening. You have people listening to those things who are validating their lifestyles, the things that they've been through, their beliefs and the energy that they're carrying. But that energy and that experience was a moment in time. When do you move past that? When do you elevate above that? So if you constantly using this music to stay in that frequency, you will be stuck because that's going to trap you in that mindset. It's going to trap you in that energy, and it's going to
Back to
trap you
karmic,
in that
traps,
life
yeah.
path. Exactly.
Yeah, I want to say something about the
Real
twerk,
quick.
the twerking and gyrating and stuff.
Oh,
But
shit.
Those are
African spirituality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's just
you
it's,
moving
it's,
the root
it's
chakra.
perverted. though.
Damn. It's
Yeah.
perverted.
They
It's
perverted
perverted.
it.
Perverted.
Sacral
Yes.
chakra, the sacral chakra is being turned into the whole focal point of life
Yeah.
instead of an experience of life.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
Oh shit, there we go. All right, bet. Next, John. How do you feel about this emo rap wave or all this depression being popular? It's as if they're trying to push depression and anxiety as the wave. I'm so
talking about
cool
Rap
because
Wave?
I'm sad. I don't listen to him.
You
but,
said Rob
Juice
Wave?
WRLD,
Rodney
I
Wade.
still see
Rod
your
Wave.
shadows in my room. It's like the punk rock John.
Yeah.
All
World.
the small things. It's like they put the punk rock John on the rap John
Yeah.
and are pushing it, but they're giving it from the perspective of being sad. Punk rock was anti-establishment.
Right.
Kid Rock, Rage Against the Machine, fuck the world, fuck the government. Corn. It's a whole bunch of
But
artists.
that is more on the rock side. Emo comes from like 1980s era where they were heavily pushing, strong emotions through music. So it kind of.
But it was not. What I'm seeing right now is almost as it's like this
Everybody want to
wave
be
of,
a sad boy.
I want to be
or a
sad
girl.
on purpose.
I want to stay depressed.
like using the image.
I wanna keep
get
whining.
on.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
Let's not find a solution to my anxiety. and
Yes,
depression.
there's no
We've all been
solution,
traumatized,
and
but
Yeah.
where is the solution?
How can you
Yeah.
heal if they constantly keep on putting what you've been through in your face?
Yeah.
What you keep listening
Making you
to,
relive it.
making
yeah.
you relive it every
Yeah.
time. Like me, when I'm sad, I don't listen to sad music.
There we go.
I agree. I agree.
You
Why
want
am
to
I
feel
just
better.
sitting
here?
I
Yeah.
got a
I
pocket,
ain't
got a
gonna
pocket
go
full of
for it.
sunshine.
Shoot.
Why am I about to sit here and
I used to
cry
do
more?
that until I figured out that's what was doing that.
Yeah, because
The music keeps you in that state.
Like, wait a minute.
you smoke weed to get over your
Let me
depression,
not-
and then it makes you more depressed because your dopamine
Yes,
levels are
that's
over
why
the
everybody
top.
be like, yeah, Ride a Wave be talking. Yeah, he
no, I
talking to
can't-
your
you
traumas
listen-
that you constantly not getting over, and you're going to be living in that
Yeah.
energy that all those
Every time you hear that
emotions,
song.
and every time you hear Rod Wave, you look at Rod Wave energy, you could tell he's a sad man. I can look at him and tell that he's a
That's
sad
the part.
man.
Hold on, can we do
Because he
something?
always sing a sad song.
And the
Because it'll be
frequency
like,
of his
I was
voice.
just saying this yesterday, bro. Hold on.
And the
He be
frequency
like,
of his voice.
These type of cats will be like, I saw my brother get killed when I was 15. I don't want to hear that when I'm riding around in my car because
Yeah.
you can create.
All these ghetto angels,
I don't want to see what you're
I'm
talking
talking about the
about.
ghetto angels.
Yeah, I'm fighting demons.
It's catchy depression. That's what it is.
Catchy depression.
Yeah.
I agree
coined
to
the
an
term.
extent. Like I listen to Right Waves, but I don't really like the sad music. I like the more
I thought
so.
that's all he
the-
made.
No, it's
All my friends are
I'm
dead.
not
he,
even gonna
he
hold
make
you up.
other music that's relating to like
He was
real
a
life.
smoker.
I don't want to use him
situations.
So
as an
you saying him
example.
as an artist, don't it?
I don't want to
Yeah,
use him as
like,
an example,
'cause-
but just this wave.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Well,
Okay.
the
I don't
frequency
really-
of his voice is pretty sad.
That's-
I'm not
I
gonna
can
lie.
agree with that. Yeah.
When
The
you play minor
frequency of
chords, they have a melancholy vibe in general. It's the instrumentation, even without the words. There are certain ways that you can play a piano or play a guitar
Mhm, to
that
strike emotion.
exude
Still
even a
frequency.
BPM, even a drum. There are ways that you can play instruments to lower
Lower.
someone's mood.
Yeah, if
And
you
I think
watch
it's-
the
Lower
Astro World
vibration. Oh, it's on
concert,
purpose.
when all them
Purpose.
people died
that
at Travis
Wow,
Scott,
boy.
when someone was actually passing away, you notice the frequency of his voice. I'm not going to repeat it, but if you watch that video, Astro World concert,
did see
and
that.
when someone was actually fainting, he looked down at the crowd and had a bass tone voice and was singing some word. He wasn't even singing. He was humming a tune, a frequency tune.
And nobody was
And it
really
was a
talking about the
low
shadows on
frequency
cameras
tone.
either.
So
Ooh,
It's
baby,
slow.
I love
they
the way.
could, and then when I listen to Summer Walker music, I don't listen to Summer Walker because I could actually feel her anxiety and her depression.
Exactly, man. There's a
Never
lot
know.
of people. I can't even listen to the radio no more. I got my own playlist. I listen to you. I listen to you. I listen to people that I know. I can't even bump the radio no more because I think they put in
Not even
subconscious
Shade
spells
45.
in
Yes.
music.
It's intentional to
Shade
make you
45?
feel a certain
Who
way.
was Shade 45? You talking about Sway
Am I
Lee?
the only one that got sound like radio?
Sway. I don't listen to none of that.
No,
shit.
Shade
Shade
45 is
45
station, right?
Yeah,
He's talking about my man's with the hat. What's his name?
No, he's talking about the actual station.
It's a
Yeah, my
station.
man's with the hat. What's his name?
That's a show.
No. We talking
I
about
don't
two
know
different
what
things.
show
You
that
talking
is.
about
You're
the
talking-
artist. He's talking about a station.
No, my man's, man. The old nigga. The nigga that's been around 30 years.
What's his name?
Come on, man. The man with the hat. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Oh, the man in the yellow hat.
Sway.
Oh, okay. He's talking about the guy on the show. He's talking about the.
Yeah, he has a show
See?
on Shade 45. Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's Eminem. Has his channel.
that's his channel. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Bet. Okay, cool. Because niggas was acting like I
No,
was.
we was just saying two different things, but y'all was on the same path.
But what channel are you talking about?
He was talking about that channel, but you were saying the person that works on it. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
The point is,
saying-
the point is, you don't listen to radio, and I get why you listen to
But-
radio, but listen to like Shade 45 and shit like that.
They play the old school.
They play everything, like, and you'll be like, oh my god, I love this shit.
Mhm.
Like, the new kid show, all that. Trust
Hey man, don't have me subscribe to no channel. You get paid by them?
No. I get paid by them. Look,
I missed that. It sounded like an endorsement.
you on
Endorsement. You just made a commercial for that shit. That's what you did.
Something that you might,
We just
Yeah, right.
edifying them.
Right.
We just edifying.
Yeah. It's just a suggestion.
You know, I mean, if you want to pay,
Are they? Because
$8 a
I
month,
give a lot of shit. I talk a lot of shit about the old school and how I feel like this generation after the 1992 hip hop
hates me.
meeting started to push music that influenced gangster rap, violence, lust, death, all types of shit. But I do want to start to put more light on the artists who are different. I just played that. Is it Holly Bailey?
Yes.
That Love You Babe record. That shit is fire as fuck.
Young Thug about to drop a new Rainbow
I
record.
want. All right, hell no. I want
It's
to
about to be so positive.
I want to put.
his next rap about to be
I want to put some
positive.
light on the artists y'all fuck with in the mainstream that you're or in the underground that y'all feel like, you know what I mean, don't represent that frequency.
Frequency.
Wait, the negative frequency?
Yeah.
Right.
Don't represent that.
There are certain people I think are hired to push bullshit. Who do you feel like is an artist that really is an artist?
Anika.
I would say Doja Cat is that. I would say
Joyner
Rose Luke
Lucas,
is that.
Royce da 5'9".
You feel like Doja Cat is
Doja Cat intentionally started to market herself in a way to alienate her fan base because she doesn't like fame the same way as Lady Gaga. Like where they got so famous and people started to ridicule and judge them, so they started to go anti on some heel shit. Like, I'm going to piss you off. I'm going to show you everything to alienate my
Yeah,
But
I
it's
actually got that vibe for the Paint the
True,
Town
but-
Red. I got that vibe from when she was saying that type of stuff. I really didn't take it literal as her saying like she's a part of Illuminati. I kind of took that
I don't
vibe as like, but honestly, I did look into
But she
Doja Cat
was-
and her
she was
family.
anti.
She's a Hindu.
Yeah.
She's
Her
Indian,
father is from Africa, like real Africa.
but she studied like Hinduism.
But her
Hindu
images don't match
spirituality.
this so-called revolt.
But
Yeah,
she
but
might-
that's what goes
she
back to
might
what she's saying.
be-
It's like a mockery right now. That's
Yeah.
what she's doing. I don't really.
So you mocking them by showing what they want you to pay homage to? You see what I'm saying?
Ooh.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
that's
that.
why agent shit.
Yeah.
It's
So-
given that. I don't know, but I know she's very anti-fame, and I know she's
Okay.
a pure artist. She's one of those artists that will risk like that Tia Tamara record. Everything she makes isn't supposed to work, and it works. Even getting on wax and say she the devil. That's supposed
Or
to
bitch, I'm a
get.
cow. Move.
I just don't.
That's supposed to
like
be-
She's
that.
also
I'm
merged
just-
herself with a cat spirit too.
An
Are there any
animalistic
artists-
spirit.
Are there any
A
artists
beast spirit.
that you feel like any of y'all feel like, okay, no, this artist here is someone we need to be paying attention to in this generation because we always shit on this generation.
Ace Hood. I listen to
Anika.
Ace Hood.
Ace Hood is dope. He actually is dope.
Ace
I heard
Hood.
that name is so
Oh,
long.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Listen to
sure.
Ace. Listen
And
to
he's
Ace Hood.
righteous. He's righteous. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
bro.
Also, my other artist. Now this might get a lot of pushback because he be on.
Shout out to Big Sean. Go ahead.
Kevin Gates.
Yeah, I like that.
Kevin Gates is
You-
righteous,
but you
and he
got-
trolls a lot too.
Yeah.
So if you don't
Yeah.
really listen to him long form, same thing with Charleston White. If you don't
Yeah.
listen to him long form in the content, if you only listen to a soundbite where he's
Exactly.
playing that character,
Yeah.
you're not going to see. I think Doja Cat is playing a character. I think
Yeah.
behind the scenes, if you were to sit down with her, she has a depth of soul behind her. Same thing with Janae Aiko or a Tinashe. There are certain artists that do have soul, but they're giving you this representative.
Why
Because they know they target audience.
Because if you listen to Tinashe before 2 on, she was dropping a lot
I
of conscious
did, just
shit.
in case we died. That whole album, 1 and 2.
So you've heard "Let Me Be Your Midnight Song," I can love you till the day is done.
I don't know it by heart, but I remember listening to that album. I know she has depth, but
Yeah.
I feel
Indigo,
like
the Indigo
her
record.
imaging was again paying homage
A
to
lot
where
of-
she
yeah.
wanted to go.
So you think she sold out?
Yes,
I
I
don't.
think she sold out with the imaging and the depictions, like, and even some of the word and the verbiage she used. Just the album alone is called "Just in Case We Die." Everything was in a darker
Did you
light.
Did you hear that Indigo Child record?
No, put me on.
So you know what the Indigo Child is? The Crystal Children, Indigo Children.
Right. I remember what y'all was saying earlier about it, so I have a recollection of it.
So she did drop that, and she was putting light onto high vibrational consciousness. Thank you, Ingenious, for coming
Oh,
through.
you gotta go.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Thank you
I
for
wish I
coming.
didn't, but
It's
I
good.
have to go.
We
Johnny
enjoyed
gets
you.
to- Johnny gets to hog the mic. Thank you for coming through. You dropped a great perspective.
You
Peace
did.
and love.
Peace.
Thank you. Peace
Thank
and love
you.
to you all.
Safe trolls.
Wait, where can they follow you?
If you guys would like to follow me, you can follow me on all platforms at INGENIOUS music
Okay.
_ Now, if you want to listen to my music, you can go stream my song Wanting More on all streaming platforms, even Tidal, even Amazon Music, Instagram, TikTok, all of that at Ingenious Key. And you spell Key, K-I. Much love to you all. The Keys, we out.
Hey.
Peace and love. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
All right. Been that John? Bet.
Like bend it towards you.
Are there any other? I agree with what you're saying. So I can never really
Camera on it
tell.
myself.
I can never really tell when an artist is being a double agent or not because of shit like that.
Yeah, it's
but I
hard to
do
tell.
think it's for us on this side where we're not in those rooms. It is hard to tell. But she was dropping knowledge and she was pushing bullshit like a lot of artists. Even
Yeah, like a
Tupac.
lot.
Tupac has some certain Masonic symbolism. That tub picture,
Oh yeah.
and that, you know, there's information on that bathtub thing with the blood, DMX, all types of artists. But at the same time, Tupac, we know as a revolutionary. So if a photographer says, "Hey, pose like this," you wouldn't know.
Right.
So it's very difficult to tell
Unless you know.
unless you do know. Are there any artists you want to put a spotlight on?
I said it before. Joyner Lucas, Royce the 5'9" for me. That's it. That's enough. I don't really hear anything too negative. Like Joyner Lucas, he caught my attention with his Low Frequency Oscillators album, and then along came Joyner, which had that one record about Ross Cappuccioni, which was a true story about a guy getting shot here, who had a friend who ended up shooting him and almost killing him over something real petty, and it was how he just worded and put the story, like lyrically, his depiction is crazy with it, man. You gotta check it out.
Joyner Lucas is nice. I would
Yeah.
like to say something Corday, why something.
Oh, YB and Corday.
He can spit.
Yeah.
Joyner Lucas, Davies. There's some cats that's
Yeah.
younger that came out in this generation as MCs.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just say it like all today's rap is trash, but
But the trash gets
mainstream
the
shit,
the
they
like
gets
the
promoted.
Sexy Red and the Megan Thee Stallion, they're really just a lot small but loud vocal minority.
vocal minority.
That's
yeah.
all they are. It's a vocal
But
minority.
I feel like the time is limited for some of these artists and more so on who you just said.
Well, yeah, since P. Diddy went down, of course, they're done.
Since we said he went
Rap.
down.
I
No,
don't
but
mind
I don't
giving
even
you-
mean
giving you
limited in
info.
terms of, something felony based or criminal based.
Well,
I'm saying time in times of like eventually people gonna get tired of that frequency.
Well, I think they already kind of getting tired of it. Like you gotta Megan Thee Stallion kind of falling off a little bit,
And then you set that nigga Tory Lanez up. Let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
and then you got
Hold
a
on,
lot-
wait. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, we know the case. Right now,
Right.
she's dropping a documentary where she's talking about Gayle King.
That was
asking her
stupid if she
about
wanted to keep the act going. She should have never put that up.
Why
wanted to
did
keep it
she
going.
put out the information that she lied about them sleeping
Guilt.
together? Guilt?
What if this was her shaming ritual? Like, what if that was?
I agree. And I think he's going to, if he gets out this was a public humiliation ritual, and they're both a
Yeah.
part of the same team.
Exactly.
If he stays, fuck it. But if he gets out, this
think he
was
gonna
some
get out.
bullshit.
I think
You do. Okay.
Because that puts a hole in her as a character witness if you're saying something.
There's a lot of Rock
Right, her
Nation behind
credibility.
her, by
Her
the way.
credibility is shot. On top of that, Kelsey, who is the person that the defense was saying actually shot Meg, got immunity and didn't have to show up. And she was in a country, and to my knowledge, if I am wrong, I apologize. To my knowledge, she was in a country at the time of the case where she could not be extradited by the U.S. Now,
Convenient.
why the fuck would you just happen to take a vacation during a case
Well,
in a
what-
place where you cannot be brought to the United States,
Yeah.
like Russell said?
What about the one security guard that never testified or took the stand? They was looking for forever, and he didn't show up until after the case. I
But
think.
he was the only other eyewitness.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Free the nigga Tory Lanez,
Free
my nigga.
Tory.
Like, fuck
Yeah.
that. And free
Alone
Diddy,
at Prom
because
was my
all
my
this
favorite
shit-
album right now. I'm sorry. So
All this shit, I saw Dr. Umar do an interview on Art of Dialogue about the P. Diddy case, and he brought out so much information about the owners of Ciroc and how Diddy sued them and they owe him money. And right before they were supposed to pay that money out, he didn't rape 129 people.
Right.
They're not going to let me
Diddy
say
been a
that.
wild
I gotta-
boy. He been a wild boy since the
He's a
90s.
wild dude in the sense that he throws orgies like Hugh Hefner. And they let Hugh Hefner
They let
turn
him do
his
it.
hair gray
Yeah.
before they said anything about him. He was dead by the time a documentary came out. So why is it that Diddy is getting slapped like
For the
this
same
from
thing.
all angles?
They
And
might
Bill
wanna get his
Cosby, the
ass
same
for the
thing.
Just
fuck
like Bill
shit.
Cosby and R. Kelly.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Cosby.
Michael
had that-
Jackson.
Michael Jackson,
That's,
yeah.
that's
With
1%. That's their thing. When we want to get rid of somebody or take their catalog or demonize them to the public, we going to accuse them of the one thing that if you defend, you yourself would be
Yep.
ostracized by your peer group.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that there is no instances in which that people touch children or women.
Right.
I'm saying let's just look at everything case by case.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
they told Bill Cosby they would not use his civil suit testimony in a criminal case, which is against constitutional law. They did it anyway to lock him up, and that's why he got out. Now, there are certain people that would say, well, that happening doesn't mean he was innocent. Why would they frame him in the first place if he was guilty?
Right.
So I'm not rolling with this. Like Michael Jackson, the same thing. Like all these cats that came out and said, my parents told me to say that to get money. At a certain point, you have to use your own discernment
There we
to
go.
say, yo, there are people in this game that have control of the media, this Blackstone, BlackRock shit, where they have, I don't even know, like 20, 30, 40, 50 corporations up under their umbrella, and they all push the same narrative.
Mm.
Which goes into Kamala versus Trump.
Oh boy, good segue. Good
Let's
segue.
talk about this.
Are you all voting? I'm going to save what you're talking about. I'm going to ask them to it and go to you.
Okay.
Are you two voting?
I thought about it, I pondered on it, and I think the answer is no. Only
Okay.
because I just don't know enough about Jill Stein, because there was this shift that happened this year where everything just started to really unfold. Now, like I said, especially with these candidates, okay, everything is on the forefront because we are in an information age. So when it comes to Trump, like you said, everything is being very propagated, and they're taking things out of context. They painting a picture of him of just being super evil, and you can't get AI to say anything positive about it. But then on the opposite side with the left, you got Kamala being presented like she's just the best thing since sliced bread. So it's just like, okay, I know for a fact that she's pandering. I know for a fact that she's taking these policies, like, for example, with black men. All of a sudden, she went from saying, oh, I don't have nothing for them, I'm not going to do anything specifically for this group, to now saying that, oh, yeah, I'm going to give them better access to health care. But that's something that you're going to do regardless for everybody, but you're putting a black stamp on it. So I just don't appreciate what she's doing with our community. She was just exposed for her clips being cut in, according to where you live at. That's the message that you're getting. So that's letting me know she's going to say whatever she has to say, because you can't say to Israel, oh, you got the right to protect yourself. And then on the opposite side, to the people from Palestine that's here in Dearborn, like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry for what happened to Gaza and the things that's happening to you
Oh,
guys.
my God.
When the whole time
So
you
she's a
really...
politician's politician.
She
pretty much.
she is a double agent. She is on both sides, flipping the scripts in,
There
whatever
we
she got to
go.
say to get in. But her ultimate goal is her agenda. That's always been an agenda, and that where they pushing this regardless as to who you vote to.
There we go.
But who you vote for will get you there quicker.
There we go.
Talk about that.
So
I'm Jehovah's Witness. I don't vote. I don't I heard both sides. Even if I did vote, probably still wouldn't. So,
I'm gonna
makes
leave some
sense.
energy here
yeah.
and say it as simple as I can say it.
Yeah.
I voted in 2016 for Jill Stein because at the time I was almost 20. That means I was 19.
Okay.
And is there something on my face?
No.
Okay. Because sometimes when people do that, it's because there's something on someone else's face. You just did that for yourself. Great.
This is for myself, sorry.
In 2016, I voted for Jill Stein because she was talking about creating grants for college students.
I did not know that.
And at the time, I believed it was possible for third parties to win. There is a demonizing type of energy that Democrat voters give toward people who vote third party, who say if you vote for a third party,
It's a waste to vote.
it's a waste of a vote. And that's not necessarily true
It's not.
at all.
That's what they want you to believe.
They
Right.
just want you to vote for somebody because they say if you don't
That's
vote,
guilt tripping.
they say if you don't vote, that's a no vote. So it's like we damn
It's
if I do,
guilt
damn if I
tripping.
don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. But let me get into this, right? So I did it in 2016 because I was a believer. In 2020, I didn't do it at all because
You didn't have many good options, huh?
the jab plandemic situation was a pseudo version of martial law, in my opinion,
Yes.
where they were testing out
All over.
globally how people will react to government autonomy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So both of these cats wouldn't get nothing from
They threw in a couple side missions too.
me.
They made it about race at some
A freak,
point.
Yeah,
you know,
remember
So
mac
they
and
push
cheese.
his race.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And it started
Identity
as race. And
politics.
it started as race, but then somehow I remember I was listening to the radio. I was like, "Hey, there goes the race card." Continue on.
Race,
Yeah.
the rainbow community,
Yep.
and then
Everything started going.
the gender conversation.
That's it.
Yeah,
And,
boy. I was.
the George Floyd thing was kind of just
It was a
most
psyop.
fuel of
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched people get their ass whooped by the National Guard over that.
Yeah.
So there wasn't anything anybody was going to say to make me believe in anything. But right now, after watching the Biden administration be what I think is just Marxist, they're pushing, and for the people who don't know what Marx is, when people call someone a Marxist or a communist or a socialist, essentially that's just such a severe level of government autonomy over civilians that it feels like a dictatorship. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It's more so the lack of freedom of speech, even in private corporations. So they know how to distribute a voice where the private corporations can get away, like a Facebook.
It's kind of like capitalism in a way, in the essence of what you're saying, with terms of like censorship and them,
Yeah.
making you believe that it's a democracy, but they really,
But it's really
control
not,
everything.
yeah. But they know how to do it in a way where there is no way we can stop it because private corporations can do what they want to do. They're not a part of the government.
Just like the private corporations are the one that's censoring us.
Exactly. So they can get away with that. And the Democrats seem to be pro that, and Trump seems to be anti that. So am I pro Trump?
Seems.
Then this is what my point is. Am I pro Trump? I am pro freedom of speech. I am pro gun ownership.
Yeah.
And I am pro not gender neutrality getting taught in the public school system, which is something that the Democratic Party seems to be for. I don't think
Why are we talking about
I'm
sex
pro
in
our
school
Bill
to
of
kids
Rights.
anyway?
I don't think an 8-year-old, a
Yeah.
12-year-old should be talking about what they identify as.
there we go.
What
If
wanna
you're an
do later
adult
on in the
and you
bedroom,
choose
I
that,
don't-
I have no problem with that. I have a lot of friends that are bi. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But as
Children
a
shouldn't-
child,
No.
I don't think you should be indoctrinated with any type of information about sex, period. When I
I
went to
think
school,
you're
nobody
right.
asked me if I was hetero or homosexual.
Exactly.
There we go. And that's
I
what
was
they pushing.
learning about history, math, and all these different
And
things,
economy,
and got
yeah.
to choose what I
Yeah.
was. I knew cats that was gay when they was 13. They was already switching.
Mm-hmm.
No one has to teach them anything. That's who they were. For whatever reason, that's who they were. That's who they were.
And they knew it.
Yep.
Exactly.
They
That's
fucking
why
knew
you
it.
could tell it's indoctrination, because why are you telling me that a 5, 3, 8-year-old, etc., just because they're in an institution where you guys are preaching this, or you feel like you trying to get everything to be so inclusive that it has to start at kids who can't even make decisions on, whether or not they want to go to school, where they left their homework. Like, you're talking to children who are completely underdeveloped, who brains are in a sponge-like state. So this. You know that whatever you feed them, if you tell them, hey, you know what, today I'm I feel like a tomboy. I don't want to wear a dress. Oh, let me affirm that you are feeling like you're a boy inside of a girl's body. And this is what they're doing to the children. To me, it's a segue to pedoism because it's like you're trying to make the conversation around all this identity and gender BS. But really what you're doing is introducing the topic of sex in general to kids who are not old enough to absorb it.
That's what.
And there is a group called the National Man Boy Love Association.
Yeah.
The what?
National Man Boy Love Association, NAMBLA.
That sounds creepy.
And their core belief, and they're pushing this because Catholicism has that ingrained in their. They're not gonna let me post this. I gotta add certain
They're
things.
not gonna let you post it.
Catholicism has that
Check out the
ingrained in their
Patreon.
belief system,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're trying to push energy of age is irrelevant. Their conscious mind is their conscious mind. That's what they wanted,
Right.
which is why that's been their thing forever. So it only matters when you mess with so many children, there's a case, but that's ingrained in their belief system. Why would there be this priest, that priest? If it was a one-off thing, it'd only be one person.
Yeah.
But consistently, we keep saying this because that is a part of their ideology.
There we go.
And then you'll have some people who will actually justify what's happening with other countries.
Make sure you
Just
said
like-
it in the mic.
Oh, you'll have people who will justify what's happening with the sex conversation and being overly pushed to our, elementary and young kids with, oh, this country is allowing these teenagers to be married, or this, country are having kids as young as 12 and 10. So just because that's your justification, just because that's something that's
And
happening.
it happened historically, but
It
that
doesn't
mean
make
it's
it
upright.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There still has to be a moral code. There has to be a checks and balances. And if we start blurring these lines, everything's gonna get out of whack. And I feel like that's what they want. The more you blur the lines, the more you can introduce.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not voting.
Why is that?
I'm not voting because I don't. A vote is like a prayer.
1 second, real quick. Because there are a lot of black people who say, fuck Trump. I'm not pro-Trump, I'm not anti-Trump. But I feel like based off the fact that the media is demonizing him to the level that they're demonizing him, he must be outside of the oligarchy of these Crest families.
Yes. There we go.
He's an
and the-
outsider that's on the inside.
Yeah.
And he's exposing a lot of stuff. Like, I'm not voting. Like, I really hope he wins, but I'm not voting because, number one, I registered to vote. I never got registered. Two, the voting process is dealing with something that's mere belief. Like, I believe in this person so much. When I was 5, I wanted to be the president. But I'm just big on self autonomy and nationhood and self. I think
Islam said the same thing.
Yeah, I'm
we
big-
need to do for self.
we need to do for self and stop trying to get a savior. It's this savior mentality. Like we waiting on somebody to come save us. We waiting. Kamala's our superhero. No, we need to focus on self autonomy. Focus on building our own educational systems, of our own school system, health systems, grant programs, things of that nature. We need to come into our own and stop wanting to get it. We waiting for something to come out the sky and somebody can help us. And we playing this race card and this Trump just don't like black people. That's all you got? They don't like you either.
But that's just
Yeah, the left don't like it.
They don't like you either. They just
Exactly.
it's like I would rather for my enemy to proclaim himself instead of a wolf being a sheep being in wolf clothing or a wolf being in sheep clothing. I don't like that. If you just be who you are. Now you got somebody who's pretending to be like you. Like, is she black or is she Indian? Like,
She was
when in the
repping that.
beginning she was
So
Indian.
Mindy, a girlie that made that Velma series, she was on 40-Year-Old Virgin. They have an interview together. I guess Mindy has some sort of podcast.
Yeah.
And Kamala was claiming Indian hard.
Hard.
But
I guess she's half South Asian, half Jamaican. But now when we get to genealogy, this is a different conversation.
Yeah.
I watched that debate.
Yeah.
She did not answer a direct question about
And
where her
won't.
ethnic background
she playing in
was.
people's
And
face.
won't.
Like,
Yeah.
well, why does it matter? But it don't. It only matters when you sit in the front of somebody's face and you want
Because
to
if you're running on that, it matters.
because that's all they
Because
pushing.
you know how to pander to our
Exactly.
community,
There
which
we
is a
go.
violation.
Which is why she's talking about black men and what she gonna do for them on her campaign website.
Because she like
Now, hold on.
a whole bunch of
There is
men-
something she said about giving $25,000 to first-time homeowners,
I saw that.
somewhere
saw that
about
too.
$25,000 to $50,000 to first-time business owners, and $6,000 to first-time. You have a child. I'm gonna give you 6 racks. The grants that they're giving out are not bad. The problem is whether it's left or right. When they give out grants, we tend to have to pay that back through inflation. Gas, groceries, whatever.
Same
they
with
can,
stimulus. We got
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That
Yeah.
gas was crazy as fuck after they gave us that $1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at the Democratic Party just to be upset. The reason I'm leaning toward Trump is I don't believe Trump does not want to control your civil liberties. He does not.
He's a businessman.
Really quick.
He's a
Kamala
businessman, too.
Harris, and when she ran initially, was anti-gun ownership. Now she shifted her whole position because she understands being that hard against the Second Amendment is going to have people who are hardline red party against her. I'm not rolling. I don't believe you. You're lying.
I don't either. It's more pandering. I just
It's
don't
like,
believe it.
you don't like this either? Okay, well, let me change
Let me
this.
change that
And
shit
I'm going
real
to
quick.
do this. Like,
Yeah.
Girl, you better stand on business.
And that
And everything
You better
Vance
stand on
say,
your business.
all of a sudden
Bruh.
she's gonna do it. Her administration.
that
all of
JD
it.
Vance, Tim Walz interview or debate, they really actually get into policy specifically to both parties. Every time a question is asked and they deflect, it's because they don't want to rile up emotions on the other side. But they really get into policy there, and you can tell the left is, I'm sorry, the left is anti-freedom of speech.
there we go.
The left is anti-gun ownership. The left is pro-abortion, and you're the only woman on the panel, so I have to ask. I will keep this away from where it can't be, but I have to ask, how do you feel about that? Is it irrelevant? Are you pro-life? Are you pro-choice?
Okay, so I want to unpack a few things. First, I want to unpack Roe versus Wade and the 14th Amendment. Okay, so with that, and the attack on Trump, because you said that he doesn't want to take away our rights or our civil liberties, or that would fall in line with our bodily autonomy, right? So Trump fought really hard to get Roe versus Wade overturned. And to some extent, even though it wasn't completely abolished, but he was successful. So, and it allowed states to put regulations on abortions, whereas it used to be, okay, if you could just go and get abortions. Now, certain places, you don't have access like you used to, right? So the demographics on that vary. But in terms of my personal situation with, or where I stand with abortion, I am pro-life. I would stand behind Trump and say I'm pro-life. And I feel like how we're being pushed as a whole with society, from healthcare and limited access to it. But then at the same time saying you want to give people healthcare on Kamala's side or either side, but still not dealing with the food administration and how that's actually poisoning people. So you trying to make me think that you're helping me, but on the back end, you're not really dealing with the source.
There we go.
So I don't really trust either side because you're never dealing with the root of the problem.
No.
So for me, like I said, just, I know I digress a little bit, but just coming back to the original question.
No, that's facts.
I believe that they're trying to, lower the population count. And
There
I feel
we
like
go.
one of the main ways they're doing that is through food, right? And like I said, you got all these people who you intentionally poisoning, but then you say, oh, get insurance so you can have health care. So it's still not about me. It's about how much you can charge these insurance companies every time you make me sick.
Yep.
So I'm just over it as
There
a
we go.
whole because you pandering to me, what you gonna do for me, but you the reason for my issues.
There you go.
And my major beef with the whole conversation, when we say pro-life, pro-choice, I do not care. It's
But
not.
either one? Is it
it's
just
not.
because you're a male?
Yes.
Or?
I
Okay.
don't give a fuck because I've been through it. I was raised Baptist. I'm not anymore. And I told this woman to not go through with the procedure. And it hit me in real life that I had no say because she was raised liberal. And right there, my fuck became negative. I'm trying not to get emotional.
I get it.
In this Babylonian society, the male's voice is irrelevant. And the black male's voice, forget about it.
I
On some
get it.
Italian mafia shit.
Yeah.
But
So for me, you cannot push promiscuity, is that how you say that?
promiscuity. But
Promiscuity to the level that we're doing it now, because not only are people having sex casually, They're doing it unprotected, and that's why the STD rate
Are so high.
is so high in all these major cities. They skyrocketed during COVID because I feel like depression was the highest during COVID. Shit.
And the food.
The STD rate was highest during
so
the
high.
plandemic because
Everybody was locked inside.
depression was highest during the plandemic because I need that soundbite. So the issue really to me isn't about pro-life, pro-choice. It's about lust
But it's
and the
also
spirit
about
of lust.
okay, so I'm glad you said the word spirit because that's spiritual warfare in its
100%.
totality. Because if you promoting lust, but then on the same token promoting abortion, I feel like you sacrifice the souls from the moment of conception.
I think they worship a God that wants souls.
Yeah, and you taking them at the earliest form where you know people are not making the responsible choices
Facts.
to govern their body. So you're going to put out things that allow you to say, hey, free will, but technically in that free will, you're not governing self.
Because you have autonomy over your own body, not the
Exactly.
body of what's in your womb. And this concept of science in this young country, because the world is very old, and this country is 250 years old. So
Exactly.
you're trying to say that a soul is not a soul at the 6-week mark, even though it has eyes that are developing or a heartbeat in 45 days or however many.
Man, that's a seed, dog.
That's a seed. It's a life.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand this concept of a life is not a life until the 3 or the 6 month mark,
That's not true.
because I just don't understand how they're going for this science. And I think it's because they want
It's a
to
bigger
live.
operation.
Because
Yeah,
hold on,
it
because
is.
they only talk about the concept, and I have to say it like this, of getting assaulted or incest
Yes.
as an anomaly or a cherry picking situation. And in those situations, Trump said, I give the exception for that, and it
pulled it
should
up.
be. I'm gonna let you get into that.
And it should be
It
the
should
exception.
be the
it
exception,
up.
but that does
Yeah.
not mean universally we should be just out here willy nilly committing to lust and not
There
dealing
we
with
go.
the
Should
consequence
not
of
be
it.
using abortion as a contraceptive.
And that's what they're doing.
Facts.
Because, like, if you go to an abortion clinic, 10 women there, how many women out of 10 is actually going to be
Thank
there
you.
because of incest, rape,
Thank you.
or medical conditions? It's not.
Incest,
Or
sexual
choices
assault,
led
or
you
that.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I
facts.
just wanted
Yeah,
to pack that word y'all said real quick, seed. So this is why I do not trust the establishment when they
Because they
try
block
to,
that word.
Yeah, when they
Oh,
try to
yeah.
make people believe like, oh, there's no life in this. But tell me, every time you plant an actual seed, everything of that life form, organs, it's
Immediately.
It's full structure.
in the
It's
dirt.
on the inside. It's not created all of a sudden. Everything you need in that seed to make it breathe life is on the inside already. So it's the same thing with the child. Before you actually can see the embryo and it, spawn and all of its, components. But it's like once it develops, it's visible. So you try to make people believe the idea that, 3 to 6 months, because now you could physically see it on the ultrasound. So if you take away the visual, it makes people feel less guilty.
Bingo.
That's what it is. It's to take away the spirit of feeling guilty for what you're doing.
Yeah, but you're
So if
killing
you want to
at the
do
end
it,
of the day.
do it.
And it's still.
That's why I'm like that. If you want to body a baby, you have the right to do it.
Boy, y'all
but
make
just
me
don't
feel
look at me
so
in the straight
bad.
face and
That's
act
why
like
y'all-
you're a person.
I'm over here
Yeah,
quiet.
and it's like, and I just want to say it's no judgment because I do believe in bodily autonomy, but I believe in being responsible too.
There is no reality. I'm sorry. I have a hard line against that. There's no reality where you look at me with a straight face and say you represent the spirit of God and you're okay with body and babies.
Yeah.
I'm not rolling with that. I don't give a fuck what you're talking
get it.
about.
I get
I'm
it.
over it.
And then the operations.
That's why I just shut the fuck up on the whole topic because it's not
Yeah.
me. But if it was me, I would go through it. There's women that I've realized later when I was dealing with the spirit of lust weren't shit. But I would rather than put me on child support for life and me have a headache than body in my seed. The fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, there's no... How is that a conversation?
I get it.
Because of Western science telling you that's not a soul.
Yeah, and
'Cause they
then
don't believe
telling
in the concept of
man
soul.
that, you don't have a say because it's her body, but
That's your seed.
me
That's half of
and
my
her
soul.
body came together to create this
Or
child.
did you just ride on a goddamn blade of grass and manifest that?
Yeah, I think
Let's
it's
get
a-
away from that because
it's
the
a
big
Nazis
operation.
get on my nerves and I
Yeah.
don't want to deal with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But like,
I'm tired of being quiet.
They gonna pull up. They gonna pull
Yeah.
up.
let's see, man. Let's see. You have a very interesting thing with immigration. My only thing with immigration is half of this place, when you talk about the Western world or the Western hemisphere, the West Coast, Southwest, that's Mexico. So
Pretty
when
much.
they say the immigrants can't be here and they talk about Mexicans, I'm like, yo, they indigenous to the land. Y'all annex that
Absolutely.
shit.
Yeah.
They deserve to be here.
Yes.
But then I realized that's not just Mexican immigrants. It's Haiti. It's all
Yeah.
across the world where they're bringing immigrants to the nation, and it's 14,000 that are murderers, and another half is literally guilty of sexual assault. So
Yeah.
why do you feel like, if you were to guess, why are they bringing so many immigrants into the country?
I feel like people who are not able to, come here legally, then technically they have a felony, right? Okay. So it's millions of people that go missing. I mean, I feel like the organ trafficking market is very high.
Yeah.
The human harvesting is very
trafficking.
high. Sex trafficking is very high.
Yep.
So if you can get these foreigners here with no paperwork, it's easy to make them go missing without documentation or nobody looking for them and nobody caring.
So it
I like
feeds
this
the black
theory.
market.
Say it again.
Your theory is it feeds the black market.
I believe heavily, because where are these kids that are being brought here? Where are they? Where did they go? They're just missing. Where are
Word.
they?
That's suspicious.
Where are the children?
Yo, that's a soundbite for sure. My thought is that they don't have enough people that are doing production labor.
There we go.
So they're trying to
That's a thing
get
too.
people who will work for the cheap. Because I do landscaping. Well, I used to. And I watched it.
So replacing us on the job market.
Yes.
I believe that.
When Trump was talking about black jobs
Black
and they were trying
jobs.
to demonize them, he's talking about manufacturing, he's talking about labor. It has nothing to do with race. It's just that there are certain people who do not have generational wealth that are assigned to certain positions.
But wait a minute, how do you get these people on the record? So you're paying them under the table?
Yes. I saw it with my
No
own eyes.
taxes.
I saw people, what do you call it, ICE? I saw the Mexicans run when that ICE truck came through on Southwest Detroit.
They ran.
They dipped the fuck off the job site. Were working outside. When that truck came out, them
So that means
cats
they
was
got
out there.
wind
They
that
get
it
gone.
was illegals there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can pay. They work. We're not legally supposed to work a certain amount of hours. I was outside from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. one day, and I was like, at about 8 p.m., I was like, and everybody else, they're working for the position to stay in the country.
Yeah.
I need a paycheck.
Right.
So
You like
Your
what
liberties
you
are
doing?
can
different.
get them to do shit that people that were born here won't do.
Right.
Yeah.
And
People
that was
with
the first time
benefits
I saw
not
that.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that is in my opinion why they're doing it. But there are certain cats that feel like
I believe that. I just don't think it's the only reason.
when you send them to certain states and they're registered to vote, it will lean to the Democrats because we're the ones that let you in here. So
That's
you owe us.
true. I saw how Biden overturned a lot of policies that Trump administration put in place regulating the border and immigrants coming over. They did a lot of work to reverse those policies. So, but then at the same time, which is why I think Trump is kind of playing a double agent, which is why I said earlier that he kind of playing the game to get along where he got to get so he can do what he needs to do for America. But essentially, he made it difficult for Biden to kind of put in implementation to protect the border because he kind of did the same thing that Biden's administration did. So it's like you're saying in one aspect, oh, you care about the border, you don't want these immigrants in, but then you created something that you knew would allow immigrants to come full flood when Biden got in office. So that's why it's hard to kind of try.
Go ahead, Mr. Funny.
What's up? My name is Black Poe, and you know it. You're back here with no PC radio. To my
Okay. So first of all, that's hack. That's what I'm saying. First of all, that's hack. That's not how I do what I'm doing.
First of
My shit is way more. First of all, hey.
yeah, there you go.
First, no, I'm not doing that. So look, the way I do it is way less XM radio-y, WJOB-ish.
I can't help it. I got radio.
Peace and
training.
love to the gods and the goddesses. I go by the name Black Poet, act like you know it, and this is no PC radio. Now, what did you do?
Huh?
What'd you do?
Something like that.
No, you didn't.
Uh,
You
it was about-
KGBG what? That's how you
Oh,
did
I
my
said this
shit.
is Black Poet. You know it like that with the little voice and shit.
It's like an NPR professional.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got like radio training, so thanks
Yeah.
hours.
I feel like that's hack because same thing with journalists. This is Fox 2 News, and my ain't.
they
I
try to
don't
speak
like
with
the
that
way
voice
they
because
train y'all to talk. It's
'cause
not natural.
you got to speak with like whatever emotion the prompt is giving you. That's kind of what it is.
It's bullshit.
It
And
is.
it makes it unnatural for people to
It
listen
does
to.
seem very
Sometimes you
robotic,
can't
but
turn
it
it
is
off.
Very
neither.
robotic.
It is programming most of it, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Project 2025.
See, there
That's
you
what
go.
we were
Yeah,
getting
yeah, I'm
into.
glad we jumped there.
Because there were like 50 different things that Project 2025 was talking about. Doing banning porn was one of them.
Like
Whoa,
100.
whoa! I don't like that.
And like in Japan, I don't know if you're into like,
No, I'm not.
Look over here. Where am I into what? Am I
only
into what?
woman here.
What are we into?
So I don't want to be crass.
Come on,
But,
say
like,
it.
Hentai?
No.
Can you
Where
show
you
me?
going?
Asian porn is like
Oh.
censored.
It
Like,
is.
you
Oh
can't
From
watch.
now?
Yeah, it is
You-
censored. They
yeah,
censored like the
yeah.
crotch area, but it ain't.
I'm not saying I know nothing about that. I'm saying
I know all
heard.
about it.
Wait,
I ain't
it's
saying like.
censored to their people in general? Like
It's
even when
cen-
they
yeah,
search
Yeah,
it?
it's censored.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
We
I
can't
mean,
watch that here.
realistically, even if it wasn't censored, most of my show here, you can't see anything anyway. So.
It's all of the
You seen a few?
all of the
Oh yeah, I was heavy into that for a little
I don't know what you're talking
span.
about. I heard that the genital area is
It's
censored.
covered. Mhm.
Yeah.
Heard it.
Okay. Right, you heard it?
So
That's funny.
that's one of the tenets. There are a lot of them. But Trump has openly denounced any connection to Project 2025. And they keep, I watched Tim Walz and I watched Kamala Harris connect him with that to demonize him as the next Adolf, which goes back into my conversation about propaganda.
Was Adolf evil though? That's a whole different
That's
subject.
a
I've
whole
seen that whole.
different-
I've seen that whole.
That's
Yeah,
a whole- that's a whole-
there's
yeah.
a lot on that.
That's a whole different subject. But
Free Kanye West.
oh God,
I don't see how it's anti-Semitic to say
I'm not getting canceled with that.
what
It's
is
about to be a whole
that
nother
you
wave.
own corporations that you really own. But
what
I'm
is
gonna leave
Sem-
that alone.
what is Semitic? Like Semitic is not
Are we the true Jews anyway?
what they talking about. Semitism. That's dealing with the sons of Shem.
Mm-hmm.
Shemitic people. That's Shem in the Bible. Noah's son.
Facts.
That's Noah's son.
And they know that, but they control the narrative, so it
Yes.
is what it is.
But I just want to talk about Project
There we go.
2025
That's what I'm saying.
and Trump. Like I said, he has publicly denounced it multiple times,
Facts.
but it doesn't even really have nothing to do with him, nothing to do with Kamala's opposition to it. Is that it's backed by the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation is kind of like what I was saying earlier. I don't want to be a part of them, but I would like to be a part of a think tank that is inspired by very innovative people who don't have ulterior motives, like who actually care about, really revolutionizing our economy and the future that's ahead of us, right? So Kamala says that she promotes Agenda 2030 and not Project 2025 because Project 2025 promotes actually decentralizing the government. They actually promote a limited government. And that would take away from what they're trying to do with this democracy of, like how we said, making you think that you're in control, but really they still run everything and they're going to do what they're going to do regardless.
Puppet show.
So the Heritage Foundation is like, hey, we got all these extra agendas that you really do got to pay attention to because some of them do still ring communism. But at the same time, they want to limit the government and replace them with people who are loyal to whoever the leadership is. So it's like, wait a minute. You saying in one breath you want to help us, but then you want to replace everybody with people who are loyal to leadership. What's that leadership you want people to be loyal to? Because obviously you have an issue with this government. That's why you're trying to replace everybody. So it's hard to trust Project 2025 because of the underlying agenda, guised as something to liberate us. Versus with 2030, they try to just make it the blueprint, like, oh, it's, for a carbon, footprint tracking. They're not going to say that, but that's what's happening. We're going to control how you travel under the Clean Energy Initiative. But then you got people like Leonardo DiCaprio, who's, obviously like, hey, climate change, and this is why the earth is heating up. But he take private jets everywhere. Take private jets everywhere. So how do you care about our carbon initiative and actually cleaning the air and stopping climate change and global warming when you part of the root cause. So don't be on there telling me what I can't do, but you the, you know what I'm saying, you the primary
I
factor.
heard you say something once about they're making all these electric cars to control when people shut down, like that movie
Yeah. Run you
Leave the
off the
World
cliff.
Behind.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
that was
that
funded by
Without
Obama. and
you.
them.
Julia Roberts. Yeah, Obama funded that, his production company, and I mean they're almost predictive programming. They're putting that shit out in the front
I believe that.
to warn you.
This is what we're gonna do, but I'm gonna show you before we do it. So
Yeah.
now
They,
you can say
they have to do that
we
though,
warned you.
To clear the karma.
to clear the karmic debt.
Yep.
They have to do that,
I told you you went with it. You didn't do nothing to stop it. Your fault.
and I don't have no karma.
And here's why
Exactly.
I want to get into. Here's why I don't trust either side, because the concept of left or blue or red party, it's like John F. Kennedy was assassinated. They're declassifying records that say the government was responsible for his assassination, but they're not. Trump went on Rogan and said there are people still alive that were directly responsible on the counterintelligence program tip for that assassination. And they're not comfortable releasing that while those people are alive. Once they die, they'll tell us. What? Like they said that. Are you saying? Are you saying that you?
Yeah, that's how they do.
That's like
You stayed-
Pfizer want to take 100 years to tell you about what they
They got to
did.
make sure that
Facts,
whoever's
facts. That's going to happen.
make sure there's no liabilities on
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah.
You
Dead,
staged a coup.
nobody's liable.
Yeah.
You staged a coup against a sitting president, got away with it, allegedly because he was anti the war, he was anti the Federal Reserve, he was anti a lot of the things that the oligarchy wanted to get done, and you blew his brains out in front of his wife, and told a ridiculous story
Plot
about.
twist. They meant to hit her too. You know.
And
Right, they
prior to
wanted
that-
both of
Hey,
them.
we missed on that second
So
one.
that was very pivotal for a lot of reasons, because
Hey, we hit him twice, son.
that was when that's when a lot of our people started becoming Democrats, because it was him and Martin Luther King that had linked up, and they thought that that's when the shift happened in the 60s. That's when because prior to that point, our people was Republicans.
Yeah, that's why they keep talking about that major switch between the parties too.
And I want to get into that because Malcolm X at the time had said if
Man,
any
talk about that.
any pro-black movement guided by a white liberal is anti-us. Fast forward to today, Black Lives Matter is funded by George Soros, a rich white billionaire person that practices Judaism, and we're supposed to trust that he has our best interest at heart. Then when you fast forward to what BLM is supporting outside of the riots, which is chaos, it's pro-LGBT, it's defund the police, it's Marxist ideologies, but it has nothing to do with sovereignty for Black Americans.
And never will.
So it's the same play getting ran 60 years later, but these people that support that movement have no connection to
Us.
exactly.
Or
So study the
what's
history.
best
Or
for
so
It's
us.
out there.
autonomy.
The information
Yeah.
is out there.
It's a puppet show.
Yeah.
And
As is
and that's
most of
why a lot of our people don't vote. That's why Reza Islam says he's not going to vote, because it's like this, regardless if you go left or right, we will never be represented in that system unless you want to participate in a corporatocracy.
I'm not playing games with y'all. I'm not about to just you putting your faith into something else. The energy that you was putting voting, you could put that towards building your community.
Like he said,
Not
that
playing
we
that.
waiting on
Shout
the
out to
savior.
New Era Detroit.
Exactly, New Era
yeah.
Detroit, stuff like that,
and
right?
things like that in general.
But on the other side, you got people on this other side, Kamala side, that's pushing like Megan Thee Stallion or Glorilla. They
Like I'm supposed to vote for somebody
they
because
having
of
these
celebrities
concerts 'cause they-
outside. Yeah,
They're using big influencers. To
That's
Yeah,
Roman. That's a
influencers.
Roman tactic. Circus and bread.
yeah, gladiators. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Rome.
These are the people
No,
I
they
know
wrong.
you look up to, so let me put them in your face because they going to bring you my way.
Bingo. Oh, we're not playing games no more. It's over with. The time has come.
Thank God for the people who see
Yeah,
it.
to me anyway. Yeah.
It would take a long time to build a third party that's worth its weight in gold, but it's still
I
worth
don't think
it.
it would take a long time if it was
10, 20 years.
No. If it was the people who did it. Imagine if that third party was a collective of us. What would that look like? Us who on the same wavelength, us who want the same thing, us who care about us. Imagine what that would look like. It wouldn't take as long as we thought if we really worked together.
You're right.
Sounds like there may be a lot of assassination attempts.
A whole lot, because they'd be like, all these Martin Luther King, y'all got to get up out of
man.
here.
They'd be like, oh, no, we Can't have y'all. Hold on, wait a minute.
They would see it as a revolt.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And I think that's why this cancel culture thing is in existence, where people on Twitter don't realize they're being used as puppets to demonize the concept of conversation, freedom of assembly. If you can demonize certain schools of thought, certain conversations will never be had.
So you're gonna encourage people to not have those conversations.
Yeah. I don't think, and I don't want to just shit on them because I don't think they're doing that on purpose to people on the internet. But these are master level Marxists, master level propagandists who are getting rid of freedom of speech.
Yeah, master
100%.
level puppeteers who know how psychology works and know how to manipulate every part.
And they've been doing it a long time. I mean, they've been.
Long time. They're not in control because they stupid.
Facts. And so I don't trust either side. I think that the deep state and the shadow government really run it, and these people are representatives.
And do people honestly think that they vote count? Like, do you actually think that?
Because they did
That's a
that
good
with Al
question.
Gore and George Bush.
They actually think
George
that
Bush's
people
cousin,
that's
I don't mean
on
to cut you off.
drugs.
George Bush's cousin was the governor of Texas, right? That was the last state that was going to determine that election. And mysteriously, the ballots disappeared, and Al Gore lost. Now, the Bush family has been connected to the Alphabet Boys since the 80s.
Yeah.
And Iran-Contra and, Freeway Rick Ross and all of them drugs that came in from Nicaragua and wherever Griselda's from. What's that place? One of those islands. I'm not aware, but Colombia. There we go. And the point is, we're not retarded. You built up your economy through drugs in Miami and then acted like you were mad at the people who were bringing it in. Locked them all up.
They paying some of the people to bring it in, though.
100%. And this is why I'm not saying the vote.
Boy, oh boy.
Look, locally, statewide, yes. But at the end of the day, they're gonna put in. They say there's an idiom. Presidents are not elected; they selected.
I believe that.
So I feel like whoever they really want in there is gonna get in,
And they all related.
and they're all related.
And it's just some weird coincidence that Kamala's dad got the same name as her competitor. So I just laugh at that every time I see the name.
It's something called. Is it called Peerage in Britain?
I know what you're
The
talking
royal
about.
family.
Yes, exactly.
The royals came over here, and it's the same thing. It's still an oligarchy. The Tudor dynasty, the Sforzas, the Medicis, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, all these families that were ruling over the Tudor dynasty has had power in government globally since like at least 800 AD. Robert the Bruce, my man's that was the captain in the Wonder Woman movie. I forgot his name, but it's Chris something, Star Trek dude. He played the dude in the movie. Robert the Bruce, that's 849. He's the great ancestor of King James. Yes, the King James Bible. And these people have had power in government for over 1,200 years. Do you really think that we have a democracy? You talking about quadrillionaires, quintillionaires. You're talking about power beyond power beyond power.
I think that this democracy is a game. So he asked the question of, does our vote count? It counts to a system. It doesn't count to anything or any actual changes that we wish to see. So as long as you playing the game of, oh, they're going to give me this. Oh, they're going to keep welfare going. Oh, they're going to build this infrastructure to get paid more off me and my people. So, yeah, when you playing the game of the infrastructure that is the government, then your vote counts. But the moment you step outside of that, and start, trying to build on your own or try to be more self-sufficient, then no, your vote doesn't count towards that because they don't want that for you.
Yeah. So I want to introduce something that I've been thinking about for a long time. Democracy isn't really mentioned. Like, we all been in the public school system. I pledge allegiance to the flag for the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
Yeah.
Then you go to Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, and that guarantees every state a Republican form of government. And it kind of just make me wonder, like, where did this democracy
come from? Yeah.
Like, we are in a democratic republic. It's not a democracy. It's a democratic republic.
Which is why it's like red.
Each state is almost its own.
I
province.
I was in Texas this past week. Texas flies its flag differently. I looked it up. I'm like, everywhere I'm in Texas, big flags.
Yeah.
They're flying their flags congruent. I was telling the brother that earlier, Bert. they flying their flags congruent with the United
Like
States
parallel to each
flags.
other.
They never succeeded into the federal system. It's a lot of stuff that goes on. They don't have no state taxes. Texas is really doing its own thing. It was its only state. It's really its own
So you
country.
believe that's more like a sovereign state?
It is.
Yes, because the thing is, when you dealing like each state, they operate heavily on the republic side. When you're dealing with democracy, you're dealing with the federal, the union.
Mm.
When you're dealing with the republic, you're dealing with the confederacy. You're dealing with something that's separate, but in conjunction with.
Yeah.
what's
And there
going
we
on.
go with the demonization of Trump, who is trying to push Roe v. Wade. When that got broken, abortion went state by state. Each state got to vote on what they wanted to say about
Yes.
it, and that goes back into, in my opinion, how it should be ran, where the people that live amongst an area should be able to vote on issues.
Yes.
Not federally, we're controlled and forced to abide
Democracy.
by.
That's why I feel more like a kingdom than a democracy.
Yes,
Exactly.
But the republic,
Which is a monarch.
But
Yeah.
the republic is what we need to stand on, because not republican, but
Right.
the republic
Public, for what it
which,
means.
which give it right, which gives the rights back to the people.
Yeah.
The people are the sovereigns who make the decisions to either elect someone or retain their own public rights. I mean, their own private rights to be who they want to be in their own private
Right.
person.
And you would judge leadership based on how its country or, whatever its domain is thriving. So if you look at, like you said, that sovereign state and how they're doing things, they don't give a F about what's going on with the rest. They're making sure that theirs is straight.
Texas
So
they don't care about nothing. They don't care about nothing about what they got going on out there.
Right.
Nothing that ain't
This
Texas.
is why.
Right.
This is why I hate the term woke being co-opted by the internet.
Yeah.
When I was 17, the term woke meant you're a part of the conscious community, the Hebrew Israelites, 5% or something.
Right.
We would learn these type of things about how government really works in our nation. Now woke means basically being a dick sucker of the left, a cheerleader for the
Yeah.
left.
they did the same thing with that woke word that they did to conspiracy theorists to
Oh,
throw
man,
you
that
off.
was
The moment you being insightful, the moment you think
You're
you know too
conspiracy
much and
theorist.
they don't know what you know because they can't comprehend it because they're not, really being open-minded about it in their program.
Or just researching it.
Yeah, or just research it, just not
Yeah.
even taking the time. The moment people are not open-minded to your information or the truth at all and blinded to it, it becomes woke. So I feel like they put a negative connotation on that word to distract people and to deter them from truthful information. The
Yes.
same thing they did with conspiracy.
Yes, and like terms like grand rise, you can't even say grand rise. It's starting stigma.
It's
They put-
Hotep.
Yeah.
They put
Imhotep was
Grand Rising
was a
King.
leader, a genius.
Yeah.
And now they demonized that, co-opted that to mean
Yeah.
something negative.
Because
Yeah.
they want you to keep spell casting the wrong frequency.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You owe me a soda.
Yes, they put it's the wrong thought. So
Yeah.
it's
And here's
stigma.
what they a lot of this insurrection stuff with Trump, and we got to wrap soon, but a lot of this insurrection stuff where Trump offered the governor and the person and the mayor extra security, and they didn't accept it. He told people to protest peacefully, which is a sovereign right,
Right.
and then somehow all of that happened, which I think is a psyop. Do you really feel like a bunch of 40-year-old, out of shape, middle-aged employees fucking through that Mission Impossible, like Ethan, ding, 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 fat ass people out of shape, climbed the wall and went into the Capitol and all this other stuff?
It's a psyop.
Candace almost he put it out there like, yo, that was an inside job. They opened up the doors. You're not just about to walk up into, bro.
Yeah.
We have the most powerful military in the United States in the globe.
And we're stationed almost everywhere.
How the fuck did these people just storm the John and ain't nobody get shot down? This is bullshit. This is not White House down. You can't just have
Exactly.
a bunch of. Imagine me walking up to the cut down.
But
I'm
you
getting
see
bodied, yo.
what
Like,
that does. Look at that. Look at the psyops. Look what they did. They
George
had
Floyd to me was a psyop.
They had George Floyd because that stirs. It's called energy harvesting. What that does is they energy harvest. Oh man, you see. Look what happened to George Floyd. Everything happened to us is negative. Everything happened to them is like they above us.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
that's
look-
superiority.
Create an inferiority
Look at-
complex.
Yeah.
That's what it's doing.
Yes.
Like why can't we see through this? I don't feel no type of way they did. Okay, they did it.
Yep. That's unfortunate, but I can tell that you're doing that to create a rise out of
Exactly.
me. I thought they were trying to incite us to start a riot on purpose to justify martial law.
Right.
Just like kind of how they
And
do
then they
with
gave the Asians
programming.
that little treaty too with them at the same time where we
The
can't
Stop
say
Asian
nothing.
Hate Bill, yeah.
And I was just like, man, what about us?
But here's the thing. They cannot pass nothing for black people.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
like.
Why? Because black
ah.
is legally dead in the eyes of the law. You can't
Yeah.
pass something for blacks. They can't do it.
But I just wanted to piggyback kind of off of what he was saying. I just really don't like what's happening on our media. And the reason why a lot of people are lost is because y'all ever notice how they will paint a picture of something and it'll be completely true. So they'll show in the media, oh, such and such, little Bravo got, killed today,
Right.
But then we'll come behind that and give you false information. So you believe what's being told to you because the story that came before it just happened. So people don't know what to trust when you're mixing true and false media together.
Yes.
So that's really why I turned off the TV. I do my own information, my own
You
research.
have to research for yourself.
Yeah, it's essential.
You will be beguiled, period.
It's
Programming.
crucial.
It's TV programming.
Yes,
watch TV,
TV,
so-
entertainment,
Vision. Shout out to
media.
Infinite Waters.
Yeah. Like but we talking to people that's literally it's like a hypnosis thing.
Yeah.
So when you talk to them, they get mad at you talking about Trump. Like they get mad.
You
Yeah,
a
the
coon,
TV told
and you
me.
you a sellout.
No, you need like I was literally in my family house and like they press up on you too, like the canvassing. That's how they
Yeah,
get trained.
yeah.
So who you voting for? Are you voting at all? Nah, I ain't voting. So you want to
And I don't like the concept
Right,
that
yeah.
you are
I hate
demonized.
that.
Your ancestors fought for your right to vote. No, my ancestors fought
for
for
me
my
to
right to
read.
choose,
Yeah.
to study, to be
Yes.
free, to be
There we
sovereign.
go.
Yeah.
You're not going to try to guilt trip me and use my ancestors' plight as some way to vote for what you want me to vote for. It's so demonic. That's manipulation at
Yeah,
its
It
highest
is.
because
level.
our ancestors fought for Republican. Like when the Freedmen's Bureau, when that came out, they was voting for Republics.
As I said, people are
That's
being
what they was voting.
manipulated.
And then my ancestors fought, like you said, we fought to read. We fought for self
Yeah.
autonomy. We,
Yeah.
we didn't just fight to vote.
Fall
But
for
that came with it.
education.
That
Shout
wasn't
out
the goal.
to, I forgot, Jalen Brown, Celtics. He's rebuilding Black Wall Street in Oakland. That's
Project
dope.
25 want to get rid of the board of education too. So
It
that's,
needs
that's
to.
a whole, yeah, I've heard that, but in the same thing, like, what is it going to be replaced with? What's going to happen to our school system?
That part.
So I don't think
Because it's
that.
clearly indoctrination.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be completely abolished as a whole. I think it just needs new infrastructure. I think the old
needs to be revamped.
Yeah, it needs to be
With
revamped.
pure information.
Yeah, it needs to be
Yeah.
rectified.
But here's the thing, though. If you go to the philosophy page and you look at what Frederick T. Gates said, he wanted to create a nation full of workers, not thinkers.
That's true.
And he said, in my dream, I don't want people to be businessmen, lawyers, musicians, artistic, fine in the arts, none of that. I want people that's just, I want to create docility.
Right, but that's why I
The spirit
believe
of being
in
docile.
I don't believe in a school system. I believe in an education system. So when I say infrastructure, I mean in its totality. I mean kids don't need to sit in the classroom.
Oh,
Take them
no.
outside. Let them get fresh air. Let them, do tactile learning. Let them touch things. Let them, really, really dig in the dirt. Let them see, the different life forms.
This
Let 'em-
is how demonic
Like
that
Kanye
is.
school was for a minute.
yeah,
beginning.
connect them with
It failed,
nature
but-
to learn.
There we go.
If your median income is lower, they teach less. The higher the median income, the more extensive the curriculum.
That's true.
It's just keeping the caste system the same. We live in a pseudo caste system. It's not as direct as do what your father did or you're going to be in prison. But there's a pseudo caste system where they know if they imply certain ideologies to certain groups of people, they will do what their father
It's
did.
the illusion of choice through
The
manipulation.
what is it called? The illusion of inclusion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you're
And-
getting with everybody else, but essentially you're not.
That's why I hate cancel culture, because through that you can demonize freedom of speech. Therefore, the people who are supporting the concept of this person needs to be ostracized, they think they're doing it to get rid of bullying. But no, you're being used to say anybody who doesn't think like us deserves to not have a voice.
Right.
Now you have become the battery of killing the First Amendment or getting rid of the First Amendment. How do you feel like that's equality? It's not that you want equality. You just want you want your demographic to be in charge, where we're going to kill the matriarchy to kill the patriarchy to create the matriarchy. We're going to kill white supremacy and create black supremacy. We're going to kill heterosexuality, be in the forefront and create the LGBT community be in the forefront. That's the same thing. You just want to flip the tables. You don't want the tables to be all
And
set.
you want people to stay confused. You don't want people
100%.
that come back to not wanting to people to know who they are, even down to the identity. You working overtime to keep people in even an information age from actually coming to knowledge of self. So it's like the whole infrastructure is to set you back and keep you in a space, confuse you, dismantle you, disrupt you, and complete discord in your life. So
That was the goal.
yeah,
That was-
and it's accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
And I think that's why they demonize Trump, because the regime he represents, the people that's paying him, was Black Rock, Blackstone, whichever one, they are pushing the concept of the republic. They want each state to exist as its own representative,
Yes.
to create a direct line to the citizens being governed by a representative, versus Kamala's regime wants everything to be federal,
Centralized.
and
Yeah,
which
federal.
goes to the international bankers,
Yeah.
which goes into complete control and autocracy and no voice,
But I
which is
think
why I
things
wouldn't
should
lean
be
toward
Communism.
any of
Yeah.
that. Whoever is supporting that concept, fuck them.
things should be at a state level based on what that demographic
Facts.
needs.
Because
Yeah.
you're polling the people that live there to say, what do you want?
And then telling them you can't have what you want.
We're going to give you this, and well, what about this? Oh, well, you don't really need that. You just like it's like a crutch.
Yeah.
They give people a crutch with the welfare thing. Like that's just a ploy to keep the fathers out of the house.
Yeah.
It only can be one. It only can be
Government
one
becomes like
daddy.
a-
Incentivized
Exactly. It only
to,
can be
to
one
not
daddy.
have the man in the household.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you claim that to be women's rights advocacy when it's really just division of the
Keeping
nuclear family,
control,
pretty much.
yeah.
Yes, Willie Lynch syndrome. Like
Again, coming back to
Which
the
they say
identity crisis
is
being
fake,
pushed.
but no, even if that letter is fake, what happened is real.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the effects thereof is plain. It's plain
It's,
and clear.
it's easy to
Buck
focus
breaking,
it.
all type of stuff. It's the same tactics that's being used, but that's the flow.
We've been building on a lot of shit, and I gotta have y'all back. Are there any last thoughts that y'all
Yeah,
have on this whole
closing statements.
concept of just government autocracy over us? Because I'm not some sort of Trump advocate. I am just as nervous of him as I am anybody
Me
else.
too.
But some of the things that he said publicly, which he would have to stand on without or else get impeached,
And
Look,
he's been
man,
impeached twice.
I'm pro freedom of speech. I think that they intentionally threw them cases at that dude to try to keep him out of office because what he represents is a different regime.
There we go.
The outsider.
Yeah,
he's the only, he's the only
does-
politician that's not a politician.
They talking
Facts.
about. They talk about. He's a felon. So is your uncle, but you still look up to him.
You still hang out with him.
So is your dad, and you still take.
Most of the politicians
and-
are felons and criminals. They just never been caught yet.
Yeah, right.
Thoughts?
And felons can vote.
I'm gonna
So-
1, 2, 3.
I said it.
Closing statements.
Do your research. Most politicians, like I just said, are criminals, just haven't been caught.
true.
Yeah, just that's it.
Yeah. Study the Constitution. Understand your rights as a citizen. That you have rights that are unalienable, that nobody can take away. You have birthrights. Start reading documents like the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, things of that nature. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the rights of indigenous people. Because you're indigenous, you have certain rights that are just unalienable. They can't take them away from you. And all this smoke and mirrors won't even affect you because you understand your own rights and your God-given rights.
I say.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of what they said, because I 100% agree. I just want to say build inward so that way you can empower the people around you outwardly. So in essence, don't trust everything you see. You know, have discernment. That vibration that you feel when things don't seem right, when it don't feel right, do question the status quo because there is something deeper there and you are penetrating that. Like your aura is picking it up.
Pause.
So definitely, I see what you did there. But definitely trust you before you trust ours.
And I guess I've said what I said. Predominantly is two statements. A, metaphysically, you are sovereign from the Most High God. Whatever, do you know whether or not you have the power to shift what's around you because you've seen it happen when you thought something and the world changed based off your voice. So if you feel like you are the change you want to see in the world, it's about that time to start creating it, because we in them days, we are in the days where there are certain people who want absolute government autonomy over sovereign citizens, and there are certain people who are standing against that. Candace Owens was called a coon for years. Jason Whitlock was called a coon for years, until people started to really listen to what they were saying and understood that they were just against the concept of the Democratic Party giving out false promises without actually manifesting what they offered. And in my mind, I feel like all this shit is a shadow government. We talk about the 1% or the quote unquote Illuminati. I can't say that word here. It'll get banned. But that this oligarchy of families that have controlled the world for 1,200 years. Yo, man, there's certain people that's not down with that. Just because you have money or fame, it does not mean you're a part of some sort of cult that is sold their soul to the fucking serpent. There are certain politicians I feel like have stood against that, and they have been killed for it. They have been taken out because of it. And you can do your own research, whether it had been John F. Kennedy, whether they demonized Trump today, William McKinley. Certain cats were against the international bankers, and they're not alive. So at a certain point, you have to do your own research. It's so deep with the propaganda. I just saw Joker 2, which in juxtaposition to the first movie, which shows a masculine individual fighting against the system. The second movie is about the emasculation of that same person, refusing to buck up against the guards, the system, the court system, etc. Some sort of movie that was supposed to say every male who has a problem with the left is an incel.
I just want to piggyback off that real quick, then I'm going to let it go. But the same thing that they did to woke in, conspiracy is the same thing they did to masculinity. So
masculinity is now bad. You can no longer be a strong man that's going to buck up against the system. If so, in that movie, spoiler alert, in that Joker 2 movie, they have him be broken by the guards. They how do I say that? He's taken by the guards, and for daring to be a voice against the system. And the entirety of the film is a middle finger to the people who liked the first movie, who said, "Oh." Even Todd Phillips himself, I think they pulled his coat strings on some humiliation ritual stuff and said, you cannot make a movie that shows a strong male lead. He's a simp. He sleeps with Lady Gaga and busts a nut in 5 minutes. 5 strokes, not 5 minutes. 5 strokes is like 15 seconds.
Goddamn.
There was another movie that came out recently.
All film like that is like that.
Major movie, too.
Barbie shows, the death of the patriarchy and the promotion of the matriarchy. I don't know, because if you can push anti-masculinity in film, there will be no one to stand up against. If everybody is some sort of spineless,
The regime
courageous.
lives forever.
Say it again?
The regime lives forever, because I don't think it's about
facts.
completely dismantling a dynasty. I think it's about creating a new one. And so, but if you want to dismantle it, you definitely can if everybody's emasculated.
And my problem with that is when we say this, they call us bigots. Like, no, I'm not a bigot for looking
But
at this
that's
and saying
intentional.
they want to feminize the man.
That's intentional.
I have no problem with the rainbow community, but you cannot effeminize the man and act like Cass is not supposed to pay attention to it. So I'm going to leave it at that, man. This has been No PC Radio. I go by the name Black Poet. Act like you know it. Can you, I didn't do that.
Black Poet, act like you know it, boy.
This is KGB Radio. That's how you did it. That was hacky.
No, that's kind of how you do it.
Anyway.
That's how you do it sometimes.
Anyway, plug your Johns. Where can they find you? These are very, very intelligent, very creative people up here, man. And I want to make sure that they know where they can add you at.
Instagram, I go by Kairos Song. So that's KAIROSESONG. And you can also find me at Kairos on all platforms.
You can locate me on Instagram. I am Spiritual K, as well as YouTube. I am Spiritual K.
You can find me on IG, Johnny Storm 911. That's pretty much it across the board, except for my Twitter account is X, so it's DJJAY Storm.
Peace and love to the guys and the gals.
Peace.
Thank you for tapping in.